I think it's a slippery slope using them for discipline, right? I think if the AI can be trained to look at levels or tiers of things, right, for review by the safety person. Now, here, this goes back to my pet peeve, right? Using AI as the ultimate authority on things and just using it to do my job, then I think we have a problem. But if I use it as a tool to get me the data, not look at the data, have me look at the data, get me the data I need to review in order to make decisions on whether or not to discipline or whether or not to change my safety management system or to change markings on the floor or to change where I store things or how I'm asking employees to do work, then that's a whole different ballgame, right? And I think, maybe what we need to do is look at how telematics was implemented over the
Right.
last 10 years or so and see what research they've done
I
over
agree with
discipline,
that.
because I know that some companies are using it for discipline, but a hard break is not always a hard break because of the guy just likes to hard break. Sometimes it's a
That's
hard
right.
break because somebody around you does something crazy, right? So we probably solved that with more cameras in the cab, right? More data on the telematics recorder. Um, you know, we review the totality, or maybe they have the telematics systems are reviewing the totality of, yes, that was a hard break, right? But he wasn't speeding, or she wasn't speeding. There was adequate distance between whatever, but a deer ran out of the woods, and there's no way we could have. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe telematics has improved that much that we're putting so much data in there that it can discern, or at least get us to a point where we can review and make a good decision.
I think part of it, we have to ask ourselves this question: what problem are we trying to solve? Okay, because AI is like this new toy everybody wants to play with, right? And
I would say everybody wants it
everybody
to
what
do their work. They
you
want to
know
play with it, but they want it to do their
they're
work.
going to play with it, and most of us don't know how to do it very well. At least I don't. Right? I'm definitely not a an expert on AI. I use AI tools almost every day, but not to the capacity that you're talking about, right? So I think you start off with the question, what problem are we trying to solve? If we're trying to get some data to look at, can we build a predictive model, not to the individual worker, but where's our risk level truly, right? I could see some use in that. I just think you're going to have a hard sell, particularly in some environments, with continuous observation of
It's going to
workers.
just listen. I would like to know some of the I'm always the research person, right? I'd like to know some of the research behind how those employees feel that are being monitoring in such a way, and what kind of policies people have put around this to assure employees that they're using the data in a really educated, fair way, right? Are we using the
Now,
data to put a warning rail in a blind corner? Are we using the data to, make sure that we're having an issue all the time in a certain area and we're going to fix it? And and the policy only allows the use of those types of things, then I think you might be able to save your trust, save your psychological safety. If you use it willy nilly and there's no guardrails around how a manager can use it, then everybody's either going to use it differently or it's going to be misused. That's my.
well, and then look on the company side, okay? Could this data be used against you? How long are you going to store the data? Does this data now indicate that you're not exercising reasonable care? Does this data indicate now become a discoverable by OSHA to demonstrate willfulness? You know that there's just a lot of
That's a great point.
legal and ethical considerations that need to be addressed before we start talking about surveillance of workers in that type of manner, right?